If you want to be financially free and make the most amount of money in the least amount of time, I'm going to share the 5 high-income skills that allowed me to travel and work from anywhere in the world. The first high-income skill is developing specific knowledge. But specific knowledge isn't just any type of knowledge. You can't learn it at school, pick it up in a book, or be trained for it. Specific knowledge can only be learned by pursuing things you're curious about and irrationally obsessed with. I first discovered mine in high school. I was obsessed with video games. Left 4 Dead, Team Fortress 2, Counter-Strike. I would spend entire weekends cooped up at home in avoiding hanging out with friends just to get an extra hour in. It was pretty unhealthy, I know, but at the same time, I was creating videos about video games. Gaming montages and compilations. It sounds like a lot of work, especially on top of school and classes, but for some reason, it never felt like work to me. I was just having a bit of obsessive fun, but it's exploring these obsessions that led me to eventually work on Wall Street and build out this YouTube channel. In retrospect, I realized that I love video games because I was always chasing to get the highest score and win. I would practice the same moves over and over just to improve at each one, which is exactly what you do in finance and when you create content. With each work or video project that I finished, I learned something new about financial analysis or content creation, about what worked and didn't work, but more importantly, why it didn't work. It became like a video game, trying to improve each time, trying to get the highest score, and winning. Over time, this obsession allowed me to build my specific knowledge. According to Naval Ravikant, specific knowledge is the combination of all your talents, interests, and experiences. It's what makes you, you. It's your replaceability factor. Build your specific knowledge because it's by definition something that's rare and valuable and cannot easily be replicated or replaced by others, including automation or AI. In economics, this can be explained by the law of supply and demand. Basically, when you have specific knowledge or skills that are in high demand but there's a low supply of it, you can position yourself to solve problems that few others can. As a result, businesses and individuals are willing to pay a premium for you. On the other hand, regular knowledge is something that can be taught at school or learned from a book. The problem is, if you can master a subject just by reading and studying it, so can millions of others. And when there are millions of others who can do the exact same thing, you will be easily replaced. The next high-income skill requires you to understand why you want to become wealthy instead of rich. If you're rich, you have a high income. But when you stop working, your income stops too, meaning you will need to constantly trade your time for income. The problem is, you only have so many hours in a day, which limits how much you can earn. The only options are you have to work harder or work longer, neither of which sounds fun. But if you're wealthy, you own assets that generate money even when you're not actively working. When I realized this, I dedicated myself to building out this next high-income skill. But first, if you want to build a wealthy, healthy life, sign up for my free weekly newsletter, Rethinkable, link below. When it comes to money, most people overlook how we transfer time. When you have money, you essentially have stored up time that you can exchange. This allows you to be more free than someone who has no time. AKA, they're so busy that they can't go a day without working because they need the money. And the only way to get to this place of time freedom is to significantly increase your output so you can buy it. And to do this, you need to gain leverage. Basically, leverage is a concept that amplifies everything that you do. Imagine you're throwing pebbles into a calm body of water. Each pebble you throw represents your input, your effort into whatever you're doing, and when your rock hits the water, the ripple effect is the output. Leverage is what can transform your pebbles into boulders and 10x the size of your ripples. Naval Ravikant said there are 4 types of leverages you can use, but personally for me, only one worked. The first is labor leverage, basically the ability to hire people. John Rockefeller once said, "I would rather earn 1% off 100 people's effort than 100% off my own efforts." Having more people on your team allows you to build your wealth and accomplish more than you can ever do yourself. The second type is capital leverage, basically having access to money. You can pay for advertising, join an exclusive networking club, or even just invest in assets that can grow over time. Chances are the first 2 types of leverages aren't accessible to most people because of what they require. But the next 2 types of leverage transform the traditional way of doing things that allowed so much more wealth to be created in the past 2 decades. In the old days, you had to buy real estate to get passive income while you sleep. Now, the internet enables the same effect. The third and fourth type of leverage is called code and media leverage, which is creating software and creating content, respectively. This allows you to scale your output easily. All you need to do is produce something once, and the impact of it can compound over time with zero marginal cost to reproduce it again. Before the internet, if I wanted to share why pineapple pizza is amazing, I would need a physical place, like a classroom that maybe 30 people can fit inside of. And I would need to do it every single time a new group of people wanted to listen. But now with content leverage, all I need is a camera, a computer, record it once, and millions of people can watch and listen. But even before I started making YouTube videos, I still had media leverage. At the time, I wasn't sure if I wanted to put my face on the internet, so I did the next best thing. I started a website. I only had to write an article once and thousands of people read it. I only had to create a budget tracker once and thousands of people bought it, all from my website. And it's never been easier or cheaper to start one. Hostinger has everything you need to start a website, including an AI website builder that can create one for you in minutes. All you have to do is enter your brand name, select your website type, describe your business, customize it, and bam, you have a fully functioning website. Or you can pick from the 150 beautiful designer-made templates and customize them to your preference. They even have an AI writer tool that can help you write SEO-friendly articles, allowing you to create content immediately. For a limited time, you can get all these AI tools, a free domain, 24/7 customer support, and a bunch of other freebies for only $2.99 per month with 2 months free. Plus, they offer a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you change your mind, you can get your money back. But that's not even the best part. Hostinger is giving my viewers an additional 10% off. Go to hostinger.com/Vincent Chan or click the link in the description and use code Vincent Chan at checkout to get an additional 10% discount. Thanks to Hostinger for sponsoring this video. But there is one significant problem with leverage, regardless of whether you choose capital, labor, code, or media leverage. The problem is, you will not succeed if you lack credibility. When you hear that Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, or Oprah plan to start a new business, chances are you're gonna believe that it's gonna be successful even before you learn anything about it. You attach trust because these people and their names, their brands, they carry a certain level of power and credibility. And to have credibility, you need to work on your next high-income skill, building accountability. Basically, taking responsibility for everything you do. The challenging part is it's a double-edged sword because you need to take credit when things succeed, but also when things fail. And I'll be the first to admit, I failed plenty of times. I've started several businesses from clothing companies to tech startups that never reached the amount of success I was looking for. But each time that happened, I learned something new. Whether I needed to reach better product market fits, or I needed to prioritize my distribution channels, or being able to admit that the product just sucked. Thomas Edison once said, "I have not failed. I have found 10,000 ways that don't work." The problem is, we're socially hardwired not to fail in public because we don't want to be judged and criticized. But I think that's a missed opportunity because failure is a part of life, and at least for me, people who can admit their mistakes and failures are a lot more credible than those who hide behind their reality. At any moment, when someone else has to decide whether to work with you or not, that pivotal decision is based on your credibility. The more credible you are, the less replaceable you seem, giving you more leverage and allowing you to offer more value. The next high-income skill is what separates those who succeed and those who fail. So 2 years ago, one of my closest friends told me his dream of becoming a writer. He's been thinking about this for years, but he never knew where to start. He had convinced himself that he needed someone or something to guide him in the right direction. And no matter how hard I pushed him to encourage him to start, he just couldn't. He was stuck in the thinking zone. Basically, it's the zone where plans and strategies are formed, and one of two things usually happen. One, you think you need to craft a flawless plan before you start to minimize failure. And while you come up with this plan, the idea remains in a state of theory and inaction. Or two, you feel so great that you came up with the perfect plan that you feel like you've already accomplished it without lifting a finger. So you just end up not doing anything. The next high-income skill involves shifting focus from the how to simply getting started. For every person that takes action, there will be hundreds of others who had similar ideas, but just didn't act on them. You want to be that 1 in 100, not the other 99 that are looking and thinking, that could have been me. I found that the easiest way to start anything is by breaking the bigger picture into smaller sections. Like if I focused on the finished production the first time I ever made a YouTube video, it would have been impossible to start. Instead, I just asked myself, what can I do right now to take even the smallest step towards achieving the most important goal? My first step was outlining the video idea, then I planned out each footage, and then I recorded it, and so on. This creates a feedback loop that forces you to continue because action generates quantity, which generates quality, which generates motivation, which in turn can create more action. According to a 2007 research study, this next high-income skill plays a bigger role in success than intelligence. And it all begins with this question. Do you think Mark Zuckerberg was the only person to think of Facebook? Or that Steve Jobs was the first person to think, I wish there was a way we can carry our thousands of songs in our pocket? Before Facebook, there was Friendster, MySpace, and Second Life. Before the iPad, there was Yep, Creative Nomad, and iAudio. So what was the one common high-income skill between Mark Zuckerberg and Steve Jobs? They had grit. Basically, it's the ability to keep pushing forward even in the face of challenges and obstacles. Let's say you spend weeks working on something, but it fails. What do? Chances are most people are just gonna give up because they don't want to experience another failure after pouring their heart into something again. But if you were gritty, you'd know that you only have two real options. You can either improve it, or you can work on something else. Some of the most successful individuals in the world pivoted their ideas several times before it became successful. Instagram was originally an app that let people make hangout plans. YouTube started as a dating site. Nintendo originally sold physical cards. But these skills are only one component to building wealth. If you don't invest your money correctly, you will never achieve real freedom. And I get it, it's confusing. Should you pay off your debt first, max out your 401k? Where should you invest? But it doesn't have to be confusing. Check out this video to learn the optimal order to invest your money in 2024, and I'll even share what I'm personally investing in.